Paying off debt is the right thing to do, but the credit scoring system doesn't reward you for doing the right thing. It rewards you for understanding how it works. And today, I'm showing you actually how it works. My name is Justin. I'm not your typical CPA. I focus on business growth and finance. Let's go. I know exactly what you did. You paid off that collection, you settled that charge off, you paid the credit card down to zero. You sat there, you refreshed the app, and you watched your credit score stay exactly where it was. Or worse, it even dropped. You did the right thing, but the system didn't reward you. And now you're sitting there wondering, what am I supposed to do now? I already paid it off. I'm going to tell you exactly why it happened, exactly what the credit bureaus don't want you to know, and exactly what to do next. Because paying it off was step one. Step two is what actually moves the needle. Let's go. So today, we will be going over 5 different reasons why your score didn't move. Reason number 1, the ghost on your consumer report. Paid collections still count as collections. This is the number 1 reason your score didn't move. And it's the one that feels the most unfair. When you pay off a collection, the creditor updates the balance to 0. But the collection entry itself, the fact that you even had a collection, that stays on your consumer report for up to 7 years, paid or unpaid. Let me show you what this looks like on an actual credit report. See on the screen. Notice what's changed? The balance went to 0. Nothing else changed. The word collection is still there. The date is still there. The scoring algorithm still reads this as this person had a collection. The $0 balance, it helps slightly, but the collection flag is still depressing your score. It's like paying off a parking ticket. The ticket still shows on your record. You just don't owe any money anymore. So here's the move. Paying the collection is step 1. Step 2 is getting the collection entry removed, not just updated. That requires a separate dispute process, a separate letter, and a separate strategy, which if you look into our videos, you will see videos on removing collections. So Experian just confirmed this. Paid collections can appear on your credit for up to 7 years. The payment changes the balance. It does not remove the entry. So you did the horrible thing. You paid what you owed. God forbid, right? The system said, good for you. We're still going to penalize you for 7 years. That's not a reward. That's a reporting system. And understanding the difference is what actually moves your score. Reason number 2, the trended data trap. FICO 10T remembers your past. Here's something that 95% of consumers, and honestly, a lot of financial advisors don't know exist. FICO 10T is the newest credit scoring model, and it does something older models never did. It looks at your trended data, your history of balances and payments over the last 24 months. Not just what your balance is today, what your balance was every month for the last 2 years. So let's say you had a credit card at 85% utilization for 18 months. You paid it off last month. Under older FICO models, FICO 8, which most lenders still use, your score would jump because your current utilization is now 0. But under FICO 10T, which mortgage lenders and major banks are increasingly adopting, the algorithm sees 18 months of high utilization followed by 1 month of 0. And it scores that pattern as this person runs hot, they max out, and then pay down. That's a risk pattern, not a reliability pattern. The algorithm doesn't forget it, it remembers. And that memory is why your score didn't move. Even though you did the right thing, you paid off your debt to 0. So here's the move. You need 3 to 6 months consecutive of low utilization, under 10%, before the trended data model starts rewarding you. 1 month of 0 after 18 months of high doesn't convince the algorithm. Consistency does. FICO 10T adoption Mortgage lenders are moving to FICO 10T. Some auto lenders are testing. It's not everywhere yet, but it is coming. The people who understand trended data now will be ahead of the curve when it becomes standard. Remember, FICO 10T is like that friend who remembers everything you said 2 years ago and brings it up at dinner. Remember when you said you'd never eat ramen again? Yeah, the algorithm remembers that too. Reason number 3, the utilization window is narrower than you think. Here's the mistake that keeps people stuck for months. They pay off their credit card on the 28th of the month. They check their score on the 30th, but the score hasn't moved. Here's why. Most credit card issuers report your balance to the bureaus on a specific date each month, usually the statement closing date, which is around the 15th to the 20th. If you pay on the 28th, your low balance doesn't get reported until next month's statement. The bureau still has last month's high balance on file. You paid it off, but the bureau hasn't received the update yet. You're checking a score that was calculated with old data. There's normally a 15 to a 30-day lag between when you pay and when the bureau gets the update. The lag is why you refresh the app and you see nothing. It's just that the data hasn't arrived yet. Patience isn't the answer here. Timing is. It's all about timing. So here's the move. Find your credit card's statement closing date. Pay your balance down to under 10% before that date, not after. That way, the low balance is what gets reported, not the high balance. This single timing change can move your score 20 to 40 points in 1 month because utilization is 30% of your FICO score. It's the second largest factor. Getting the right balance reported at the right time is the fastest legal score move available. Most people think paying on time is what builds credit. And it is. Paying on time is 35% of your score. But utilization, how much of your available credit you're actually using, that's 30%. And utilization updates monthly based on what the bureau receives on the statement date. That timing window is the difference between a score that moves and a score that sits. Reason number 4, you close the account you just paid off and erased your history. This one breaks my heart every time I see it. Someone finally pays off a credit card they've had for 8 years. They feel relief. They don't want the temptation anymore, so they close it. And their score drops 30 to 50 points. Here's why. When you close an old account, 2 things happen simultaneously. Your total available credit drops, which means your utilization ratio spikes even if you didn't spend anything, and your average account age drops because that 8-year card is no longer counted in the age calculation. You paid it off and you punished yourself for paying it off. The system didn't do that. You did because nobody told you this rule. It's very important. You didn't spend a single dollar more, but your utilization went from 10% to 15% just because of the math. Your average age went from 7 years to 4 just because you closed down that account. Both of those are scoring penalties. You literally made your profile worse by doing what you felt right. I know it doesn't make sense. So never close off an old paid off card, especially one that has really good payment history. Put it in a drawer, set one small recurring charge on it, like a $10 Netflix subscription. Keep it active, keep it open, and make sure to pay it on time. And this will preserve your available credit and your account age. The card stays open, the history stays alive, and your score stays high. I talked to a woman recently who had a 710 score. She paid off her card she'd had for 11 years and then closed it because she was proud and didn't want the debt temptation. Her score dropped to 668. That's a 42-point drop, and that cost her a mortgage rate she was about to lock. She didn't fail, she just didn't know. And that's the most expensive kind of not knowing. So pay it off, keep it open, set a small auto pay charge. That's the three-step move that turns a payoff into a score increase instead of a score decrease. Reason number 5, the mixed signal. Paying off installment loans removes a scoring factor. Here's the weird one. You pay off a car loan, a personal loan, a student loan. These are all installment loans, fixed amounts with fixed payments. And when you pay one off completely, your score might drop slightly. Why is that? It's because the scoring model rewards you for having a mix of credit types, revolving credit cards, and installment loans. When you pay off your only installment loan, your credit mix narrows. You go from this person handles both types to this person only has credit cards. The algorithm reads that as less diversified, slightly higher risk. You did the financially responsible thing. You paid off a loan, and the scoring model said, I liked it better when you still had the loan. That's not intuitive. That's not fair. But unfortunately, that's how the math works. So here's the move. If you're about to pay off your only installment loan and you're planning to apply for a mortgage or major funding within 6 months, consider keeping a small installment loan open for credit mix purposes. A credit builder loan from Self or a small secured personal loan can replace the closed installment loan in your mix without costing you too much. Credit mix is only 10% of your score, but 10% can be 30 to 50 points. And when you're in the 580 to 640 range, every factor matters when you're climbing out of that bottom. The credit scoring system preferred you in debt. I know it seems backwards, but we're not here to complain about the rules. We're here to understand them so we can win the game. All right, so here's the bigger picture. Let me zoom out. The average credit score in America is 715, but that average is a lie. It hides the millions of people stuck between 580 and 640. People who are doing the right thing, paying things off, making sacrifices, and watching a number that refuses to move. Those people aren't lazy, they aren't irresponsible, they're just fighting a system that they don't understand because the system was never designed to explain itself. FICO 10T is rolling out. Trended data is coming. The system is getting more complex, not less. The people who understand it now will be the ones who break through. The people who don't will stay stuck doing the right thing, getting the wrong result for years. That's why this community exists. That's why I make these videos. Not because credit scoring is fair, because it isn't. And you deserve to know the rules anyways. I got a message last week from someone within this community. And she said, Justin, I paid off $9,000 in collection. My score only went up 7 points. I was devastated. Then I watched your video about paid collections still showing on the report. I sent the dispute letter. 6 weeks later, the collection was completely removed. Not updated to 0, the collection was removed. After that, my score jumped up 89 points. She said, I almost gave up, but I'm so glad that I didn't. See, that's the difference between understanding the system and trusting it. You don't trust it, you learn it, and then you win. So here's what I want you to do. Write this down. Paying it off is step 1. Understanding why the score didn't move is step 2. Step 3, the move that actually changes the number, is what comes next. And I'm not going to leave you without it. So here's the 3 moves that actually change your score. And these are action steps. And this is the payoff for staying until the end. Move 1, dispute the collection entry for removal, not just the $0 balance. You paid the collection, now dispute it. Not because you didn't pay it, dispute it based on the status, the reporting date, the accuracy of the entry. Creditors make errors. Collections get reported with wrong dates, wrong amounts, wrong statuses. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says any inaccurate information must be removed. You're not lying, you're demanding accuracy. The result? The entry disappears. It doesn't just go to 0, it's gone. and when it's gone, your score will jump. Move 2, pay before your statement closing date, not after. Find your statement date, pay your balance down to under 10% before that date, preferably less than 5%, and then that low balance will get reported. Your score moves within one cycle. A single timing change can move your score 20 to 40 points in 30 days. Move 3, keep old paid off accounts open with a small auto pay charge. Put a $10 recurring charge on it, like Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, Prime. Set it to auto pay, and the account stays active, and the history stays alive, and the available credit stays in your utilization calculation. Zero effort, maximum scoring benefit. Do not close old paid off cards, ever. Put them in a drawer, set autopay, forget them, and your score will thank you. So now you know why your score didn't move, and you have the 3 strategies that will help boost your score. Incorporate those into your credit journey and watch your score jump. So if you've gotten any value from this video, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Remember to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm get this video in front of more people. And to your success. Salud.